All right. Hey, everybody. Rob here for this week's call. I got a couple of cool things to share with you. I think you're going to enjoy it, especially if you're content creators. And hey, you're part of Bestseller Publishing's family. So, of course, you're content creators, but especially if you're content creators, because we're going to talk about how to never run out of amazing ideas to create compelling content. And that could be for books, but it also could be for blog posts, for podcasts, for video, for anything, short form or long form type of content. So let me give you a little bit of background. What to write about is always a challenge that is presented to us by potential clients. So this is something that, on a regular basis, we deal with and face, trying to help people understand, hey, you got plenty to share in your book because of your expertise, whatever that is, there's plenty for you to talk about. By the same token, creating content on a regular basis for blogs, podcasts, videos, etc., is a little bit more challenging unless you have a framework in place. So let me give you a couple of examples and stories, and then I'm going to kind of lead into it. These examples you may not understand the exact relevance until I deal with it, but you'll see it. A light will come on at some point. So I was on Facebook just a little while ago, and came across this CNBC post by a company called Booster Fuel. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Booster Fuel. I had not, but they're doing $200,000 a day, and they're only in 2 locations at this point. And basically what Booster Fuel is it's a company that buys gas directly from, not the stations themselves, but the distillery? Would it be a distillery? I don't know. That's how you distill like whiskeys and stuff, but maybe gasoline too. I don't know. And refinery, thank you, Garth, refinery. So they buy directly from the refinery, and then they come and deliver directly to your car. You use an app on your phone. You basically, sign in with all of your information. You pin where your car is. You don't even have to be at your car. You leave your little, gas cap area open in case that there's like a lock internally in your car. And then that's it. They fill your car up with either regular or, like a premium gas, and then it charges automatically to your phone and to your account. I'm like, brilliant, right? It's brand new, and it's doing $200,000 a day. Why is that brilliant? It's brilliant because somebody is executing on an idea that probably you and I have thought about 100 times or more, because we now live in a very convenience-based society, right? We have groceries delivered by Amazon. We get an Amazon package every day. Whenever I want a book, unfortunately, I don't go to a bookstore. What do? I go to Amazon. I order my book directly off of Amazon, right? It's the same thing that you probably do. We're interested and look forward to convenience. So Booster Fuel thought about who their ideal client is, and they thought about the biggest problem that ideal client has, and then they said, we're going to solve it by bringing it directly to them. All they have to do is tap a button, tap where the car is located, pin it, and then leave it and forget about it. They don't have to worry about putting their credit card in. They don't have to worry about getting gas on their clothes or on their car. They don't have to spend the extra 7 minutes or 10 minutes or however long. And let me tell you something, mark my words, this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar company that does this, and there will probably be some competition. Similarly, a little different, but similarly, I was with Dean Jackson this weekend, great marketer. We've actually known each other since the real estate days. I was in Joe Stump's buy referral only program, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, maybe 15 years ago. That's where I originally met Dean. We played golf together. Dean's a brilliant marketer, and he was sharing with me a little bit about the Kylie Jenner phenomenon. In case you don't know, surely you know who Kylie Jenner is, but in case you don't know, Kylie Jenner has become a billionaire. Now you may say, oh, well, because of all of the media attention and focus, that's why. Look, there are plenty of people with massive media attention that never become billionaires. In fact, her sisters never became billionaires. They're worth, probably 100 million plus, Kim Kardashian, Khloe Kardashian, et cetera, but they never hit the $1 billion mark. And I think they're a long way off from the $1 billion mark, but she did. Here's the interesting thing about that. She did it with only 7 employees. She has 7 employees. and she's a billionaire. Of course, what she did is she created Kylie Cosmetics. And in a similar way to Booster Fuel, she thought about who her audience was. She obviously has a big audience. And she considered, what could I offer? What product or service, in her case, product, could I offer that would solve a problem for the majority of my audience? And she came up with Kylie Cosmetics. And the interesting thing is, of course, she doesn't create these cosmetics or make these cosmetics herself. She basically partnered and brought on a firm that would partner with her to create Kylie Cosmetics. So in one sense, all of the fulfillment, all of the creation is completely outsourced. She doesn't have 1,000 employees for a $1 billion company. She has 7, which may sound very attractive to you or may not. I don't know. The point being, these two very, very different phenomena. One I just saw today, and one, of course, that has been going on for a little bit of time. And I think she's only 22 years old, by the way, which is pretty cool. Is both of these firms and all of us really need to be attuned to who our ideal client is and what exactly is the big problem or pain that we're solving for them. And by the way, there may be more than one that we're solving for them with our product or with our service and with what we do. In the example of Booster Fuel, it's a service that's being done. In the example of Kylie Jenner and Kylie Cosmetics, it's a product that's being sold, and in some cases a low-ticket product, but she has multiple products with high margin as well. So when it comes to never running out of ideas for great content, for your videos, your blog posts, etc., you are going to have to create themes around a couple of things. And I want to give you several questions that you should be asking yourself. Write these down. And I do have a tool for you at the end that I'm going to give you access to it that will actually, you'll plug in the answers to these questions. And I'm going to show it to you in just a second. I'll share my screen. But you'll plug in the answers to these questions, and it will actually jumble it up and mix stuff up so that, boom, you get different topics. And a buddy of mine created this really, really brilliant. He calls it the content amplifier template, I think, but I'll show it to you in just a second. And but this is how you need to be thinking, and these are the questions that you need to be asking in a general sense, both for your book as well as for any content that you're producing in an ongoing manner, including content like this, right? This is stuff that I'm asking myself for you when I'm producing content for you. So what are the questions? Well, when creating content, ask yourself, what's the number one big promise that my product or service offers? The number one big promise that my product or service offers. Now, by the way, you may have a couple of spaces below that and say, okay, if that's the number one promise, what's the number two promise? What's the number three promise? Because more than likely what you do for somebody and how you serve and help somebody offers not just the big promise, but it offers multiple smaller promise number two, promise number three. The next question, ask yourself, what is the ultimate pain that my client faces? The ultimate pain. Now, one may be the cart before the horse, but because you already have a business that's operating, you already offer things that solve problems, right? So you need to be thinking in terms of the products that you have. However, and here's the big however, when you ask yourself a question like, what's the ultimate pain that my client faces? Several things can happen. Number one, you can look at the product or service that you're offering and you can say, does this really match up directly with the ultimate pain that my ideal customer has? And if it's a yes, and I certainly hope that it's a yes, then great, you move forward with it. On the other hand, there may be pain number two, pain number three, right? Besides the ultimate pain number one, there may be minor pains that your product or service can solve. And you need to be thinking in terms of, okay, this is the big pain point that they have, and my product solves it, but guess what? These other products can help solve it as well, and they're not that far off from the thing that I offer. An example of that. So, and I'm going to go through some of this on the content amplifier template as well with you so you can see it, because I did it for myself also. So for example, with bestseller publishing, obviously we are ghostwriting. We're helping people bring their ideas to fruition. We're publishing. We're doing book launches to #1, like we did for Mike today. Congratulations again, Mike. You get that email later with all the stats on it. But also, what else do we do? Well, we do media and PR. Why? Because getting somebody on TV with their best-selling book, or getting somebody an article in Forbes or Entrepreneur or Success Magazine, or maybe, getting them on a big podcast, right, are also things that will help to build credibility, build authority, build somebody's audience. So what did we do? Well, when I started bestseller publishing, we didn't do media and PR. But a few years in, I saw this as a need. I saw this as a pain point that people had. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to hire a publicist, a single one, and I'm going to see if this is something that we can do. I learned that it was, and I learned that we could do it excellently. So I hired publicist #2, publicist #3, and soon publicist #4, so we can continue booking our clients on radio, TV, media, etc. Right? So it's solving a similar but different pain. Right? So you ask yourself the question, what is the ultimate pain that my client faces? Along those lines, you say to yourself, questions below that, what's the one problem, the #1 problem that contributes to this pain that my client has? And then what's the #2 problem that contributes to the pain? What's the #3 problem that contributes to the pain? And I'll give you some examples to that. So that's one kind of line of reasoning and questioning that you're going to be doing. Along the same lines, but taking the opposite tack, you're going to ask yourself, what's the ultimate happy place for my client? This is where they are, but this is ultimately where they want to be, right? The old adage, I think I first heard it 15 years ago from Dan Kennedy, nobody buys a drill because they want a drill. They buy a drill because they want a hole. And it's the same thing with your product or your service. Nobody is becoming a client of bestseller publishing just so they can physically hold in their hands a book. They want something else to come from that book, just like I want with Publish, Promote, Profit. You want that as well. So you need to dig a little bit deeper and ask yourself. And then along that line of thinking, what's the #1 solution to get my client to their happy place? What's the #2 solution? What's the #3 solution, etc.? Let me share my screen and show you this content template that I think will help you and give you a little bit of guidance on this. Now I'm giving you this, but please, when you go to the link, make sure you make your own copy rather than using my copy. Make your own copy, and then you can use this and always adjust it. So some of these questions you'll see are similar, but they just ask about your business or business niche. So question #1, what business are you in? Question #2, what is your business niche? In my example, of course, what business am I in? Publishing, but that's really just part of what I do. And then what's the niche? Using a book for business growth. So now what could I have also said? I could have said what business I'm in, media and PR. And then I could have said using a book to get on radio, TV, etc. So there are several different angles of what I do, just like there are several different angles for what you do as well. Then you'll see some of the questions that we went over. What big result does your product service solve? For me, I put creating celebrity and authority. What's the second big result? Attracting media and PR. What third big result does that get? Attracting clients, right? And that may even be switched around a little bit, but in one sense it doesn't matter, because what the content amplifier template's going to do is jumble all of this and give you some potential titles to work with to create content for yourself, okay? Going a little bit further down, what's the ultimate pain that your ideal client faces? Again, in this part of my niche, I wrote where your next client will come from. What is the ultimate happy place? Massive lead generation, right? Becoming the hunted, what I would call it. Name the biggest problem that contributes to your client's ultimate pain. Being unknown in their market, right? That's what contributes to not getting leads. Name the second biggest problem, not being an authority in the market. Maybe they're known a little bit, but they're really not known well. Name the third biggest problem, losing sales to other authorities, and I actually put a slash and having to lower prices and compete on price, right? That may even be problem 3 and problem 4. They're a little bit separate. But who wants to compete on price? When you're an authority, when you're a celebrity in the space, you never have to compete on price. And then what are the biggest solutions? Well, becoming the hunted instead of the hunter. You don't have to compete on price then. The second biggest solution, massive lead flow. The third biggest solution being well known for their expertise. Now, I plug in all this information, including various things like name a company that's a leader in your niche, name a person that's a leader in this space. I put Gary Vaynerchuk in there. And then, boom, what does it do? Well, it jumbles it all up, and it creates 70, 80, 90 or so titles. Is that right? No, because it's 70. So it's like 72 or 75 different titles. And the titles are things like what you need to know right now about publishing, right? What you need to know right now about using a book for business growth. So it's taking, certain ideas, right? Certain themes, what you need to know right now. And then it intersperses those things with your answers, right? What do you need to know right now about creating celebrity authority? What you need to know right now about attracting media and PR? What you need to know right now about attracting clients? What you need to know right now about massive lead generation? Then it does the same thing with 5 secrets, the 5 secrets of publishing, the 5 secrets of using a book for business growth, the 5 secrets of creating celebrity authority, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a pretty cool little tool, but I think in one sense the bigger idea is that what you're doing here is you're diving deep into what the pain points are, the problems are with your ideal client, and then you're simply answering those things for your ideal client with different themes, different ideas. And then that helps you to create the content. Really, really simple. I'm going to give you a link to this in the private group, so that you can have this, so you can use this. You can use this to create podcasts. You can use it to create video. You can use it to create chapters within your book, right? You can use it to create lead magnets if you do online marketing, all those kinds of things. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I wanted to give you a little of the psychology behind it, the idea of booster fuel, Kylie Jenner, and then dive deep into these are the questions you need to be asking yourself. And then also here is the tool that can help you to do it. Awesome. So thanks so much. Hopefully this is really helpful to you. Now let's go on to the second place, and I want to answer any questions that you have, of course. So if you have any questions, please make sure you ask them. But I also want to ask a couple of things as you are typing any questions if you have them in there. Wendy says, thank you, Rob. Great tool. So Wendy and everybody else that are on right now, if you go to the Bestsellers Mastermind page, you will see I put the link to the tool right in today's How to Never Run Out of Ideas for Great Content. So this is the link for the tool. When you go on the tool and you see the first step is answer these questions, it's going to tell you go to File right up here and then click Make a Copy. Boom, make a copy. So that way you have your own copy of this and you can make changes, right? So I can do another one that instead of about publishing, it's ghostwriting. Or instead of publishing and ghostwriting, it could be media and PR, or it could be launching your book, right? So anything within kind of the overarching theme of what bestseller publishing does, and you can do the exact same thing. So that's where you'll find it. It's right there. Just click on it and it's yours, and hopefully it's really helpful for you. Let me give you a couple of things that I'd like you to do and that I think will be helpful for you down the road, but will be helpful for your clients, your fellow authors right now, our clients at Bestseller Publishing. So usually once a week, sometimes once every 2 or 3 weeks, I post a book for review. This is a new book, one of ours that is in the soft launch phase. It's Terrence Robertson's book. It's called, I can barely see it, Healthy is the New Sexy, A Guide to Creating the Body You Want. And Terrence is a New Zealand client who runs a fantastic personal training and fitness business. So please click on it, comment below that you purchased the book for 99 cents, read a couple of chapters, leave a review, and then what I promise to do is I promise to put you in the queue to do the exact same thing for you when it comes your time to get reviews. Some clients have a harder time of getting reviews than others. Some of you might need it, some of you might not need it, but please go ahead, go in here, leave a comment, download Terrence's book, and leave me a review. I would be greatly appreciated, as Terrence would. And Terrence will also leave reviews on your book during the soft launch phase, etc. Okay? So just like it, comment on it that you did it. I would really appreciate it. And then one last thing, and that is we have a couple spots left open for our Done For You client only event that's coming up next Friday and Saturday, March 22nd and 23rd. The focus is book funnels, and as always, I will have discussion on lead generation, media PR, speaking, and those kinds of things. So if you're interested, do me a favor, comment here. I'll bring this to the top of the page. If you're interested in coming and I still have spots open, then just comment below that you want to come. And if we have spots open, then I'll have Sarah communicate directly with you. Last week, Craig and Daniel commented that they wanted to come. And so you guys are set to come. There are some others on here that comment. I think it was you, Christy. So you're set to come. So anybody that wants to come, please comment there. And if we can do it, if there are spots available, then absolutely we will do it for you. Okay, let me answer any questions that you have. Mike says, to be very upfront, I didn't realize how important that is to support each other. It is big. I totally agree, Mike. Please do that. You did get some support from your fellow authors. We had done this for your book several weeks ago. And so, yeah, it really is important. You'll have your friends, your family, your coworkers tell you that they're going to download your book and review it, and they won't do it. They're not terrible or evil people. They just get busy and they don't do it. So as much as possible, we want to get some great support from the team here and ask you to do it. So start, please, with Terrence's book. I would appreciate it. Let's see. George says, I noticed you were asking those in the group to do reviews for recent bestsellers. When I launched my book last June, we didn't use this strategy. And I've had Amazon remove like 15 reviews, family and friends. If I put my book back to free or 99 cents, can you help me get some others to review your book? Yeah, I'm happy to, George. All I ask is that you contribute to review others. And if you do that and you put your book back to 99 cents, you don't even have to go free. But if you go back to 99 cents for the digital, then I will absolutely feature you. I just ask that you do it for the other authors here, and I will certainly do it for you, my friend. No problem at all. Now, one thing to say, sorry that you had so many reviews removed. That's an exorbitant amount. We may have some reviews that are disqualified or removed because of the connection via social media in this group. I tell people, look, just don't worry about it. Offer a review. If it gets accepted, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. Just move on and let's try to get another review. So, so remember that even when it comes to working together in this group. Christy says, look forward to next weekend. Great. Look forward to having you there, Christy. Katie says, I'd like to come. Awesome, Katie. Do me a favor and just note here, as you can see, right here, DFY client only event coming soon. If you're a Done For You client, then and we have spots available, then please just comment right below here, and I'll get Sarah on it for you. Great. George says, and of course, I gladly do the same for others. Love it. George, I'd be happy to do that. Mike says, thank you, guys. George says, thanks. Fantastic. Robert says, how do I get your template? So, Robert, it's in the group right now. This is it right here. It asks for a request for access. Go ahead and request access, and I'll grant all of you guys access. So don't worry about that. Just request access, and I'll give you access, and then you go ahead and create your own one. Okay? So let's see what else. Deborah says, thank you. I was wondering, when does the PR stage start after your book has been launched and has hit bestseller status? So Liz, it starts several months later. Typically speaking, it will start, you know, could be 3 or 4 months down the road. We want to hit bestseller. We want to get as many reviews and sales and whatnot to keep coming in. There's a video that I actually did it a few weeks back, that I would suggest you take a look at. If you email the team here, we can send it out to you. But it does start a few months later, and it does take time. So some people would say, well, why isn't it starting right away? I tell all my clients this: the idea of media and PR is not to sell more books. That's not the goal of this. The goal of media and PR, and by the way, the only media and PR appearance that I did for the launch of this book was about a month ago, and I launched this book 6 months ago. So I do the exact same thing that my clients do. When I launch a book, it goes through the exact same process. I don't do anything special. So the media and PR phase is about giving you added credibility and authority and a new bump, right? So it doesn't matter that it's not happening during the launch of your book or anything like that. Don't worry about what Penguin or Simon & Schuster or any of those guys are doing. It takes them 3 years to get a book from start to finish. So it's easy for them to put all of that together at the same time. We do things a lot more quickly than they do. So the media and the PR will come. It'll just come, generally speaking, it'll get started a few months after. So certainly, I don't know what your timetable is, Liz, or when your book was launched, but go ahead. You can certainly email anybody on the team or call the office and get a ETA of when that's going to start for you. Hopefully that helps. Pete says, hi, Rob. I requested your Google Doc. Please approve. I will approve everybody that requests that, so no problem. Go ahead and request. Kathy says, is there a way to give me access? I'm having trouble getting it because I don't use my Gmail. I don't totally know the answer to that, but I promise that I don't know what to say. I'd say try to use your Gmail because this is a Google Doc. That's what it is. So I think you're going to need your Google Gmail account to get access to it. So you might have to create one, Kathy, and then be logged in and then go through that way. I'm not 100% sure. Okay. Anyway, I think that is it. Looks like that's it. Thank you so much for being on. I hope this is helpful. Again, here's the free tool. Here's the template. For any of you that want to come to the live event, would love to have you. If we still have spots available, we have a couple left. Please comment here. Anybody that does, looks like Katie, thank you. You are commenting. I'd like to attend. Awesome. If anybody else does, comment right after Katie, and then Sarah will get in touch with you for that. You guys are terrific. Have a great day, and see you next week.